They are not.
What do you focus on this stretch of the year? Like, obviously winning is always the goal, but what's your focus here just this last little bit?
Play hard, stay healthy, focus on our habits and puck management.
When you're trying to hone your coaching style as a young coach, do you make a conscious decision not to be yelling and screaming, or is it did you just play to your personality?
I think you got to be true to your personality. You certainly don't want to be yelling and screaming all the time. I think like you got to be solution based. You know, like there's a time and a place that your players may need a charge depending on your group, and then there's other times where I think there's different approaches likely the best way to go. You know, so it's like, but I do think you got to be true to yourself, your feeling, what you're seeing, what you like and what you dislike, and you got to, be authentic when it comes to that.
I mentioned that because Ledger was like, he doesn't come in and say, oh, you suck. He's like, this is why you suck, and presents analytics. He meant that in a nice way, but is that more, do you think that kind of based, analytic-based solutions work better with players today?
Well, I think they work I think it depends on your group, but I've been with these guys a long time. I know how competitive they are. I know even if they have a night when we're not competitive, I let them know, but I don't think that I have to yell and scream to, I think there's a certain amount of trust built up there between us and them and vice versa. And so, and again, we're just looking for solutions. I also understand there's going to be nights when you're not at your best, and so how do you win when you're not, and what can we adjust or things we can do that can help us in a lot of different ways. And like puck management is one of them, like we didn't do a very good job managing the puck in St. Louis. We certainly weren't great to start the game. We got more competitive as the game went on, but if we had just managed the puck a little bit better and done a little bit of the early work, we would have saved ourselves lots of headaches, So I try to explain that to them, and then I'll show it to them after so they understand exactly what I'm talking about.
You've had a lot of guys win a lot of individual awards over the last few years. Something like the Art Ross Trophy and Nathan McKinnon being in that race. Is that something you care much about to help him achieve? Is that something you leave up to him? Like if you guys were locked into a spot and you wanted to give him a rest day, would you want him to take that? Would you want him to go for an Art Ross?
That's all on him. Yeah, I'm good either way. If he wants to try and chase it down, then I'm perfectly happy to help him try and do that. If he's good with where he's at and what he's doing and wanted a rest day, I'd give him that too. He's the one that's got to play the game and be at his best come a week from now and every night really. And so I trust the player on that, especially when I have a relationship with him like I do with Nate.
With that, Nate takes a lot of maintenance days and stuff like that, and he works on his own and optionals. Especially recently, he hasn't gotten on the ice a lot. Is that more a product of what you were just saying, it's this time of year, he wants to be fresh, or is that everyone's dealing with a little bit of something this time of year and sometimes you need time off?
It's his routine to be fresh. Yeah, and I think that's sort of evolved over Nate's career year to year. Like we get to this point in the year, for the last handful of years, he hasn't seen the ice a lot. I think he started that earlier this season, and I'm fine with it. You get to a point as a team where, you've worked on your game. There's lots of hard practice days throughout the course of the year because you're trying to get your team where you want it to be. And there's always improvements to be done, but there's many different ways to improve, right? Like you can improve having an analytics meeting and understanding where your team's at and where your team needs to improve. You can follow it up with video sessions. Guys work on their own, on their skills. There's days to have good team practices, but I also think there's guys that can benefit more from not being on the ice and getting a lift in and this and that. So we've left a lot of morning skates have been optional this year. A lot of guys have their workout routines in the morning. Not that they didn't before, but they're more personalized, using those as strength training days depending on our schedule. And when guys need to get on the ice, they do. And you're kind of just maintaining and honing in on specific details that sometimes are hard to just put into a practice plan. What I thought the team had a really good practice the other day. We did some 5-on-5 work. I think that benefited a lot of guys, including Landy, and Nate didn't need to be a part of that.
What do you want to see in how your team stacks up against Vegas's?
Well, they're going to be a team that's got to be reckoned with on this side come playoff time. I don't know that I'm comparing our team tonight against their team overall and taking anything out of it. I just want us to go play hard with good habits. Wedgwood's going today, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.